In LA this week,
with the stroke of a pen, LA Mayor Eric Garcetti approves new water conservation rules for the city of Los Angeles. Also, new recommendations on the number of times you should water your lawn per week. I'm Gil Reyes with the story next.
I'm Anna Marcos. What will you do to stop domestic violence for October Domestic Violence Awareness Month? City leaders and advocates are asking everyone to take the I Can, We Can pledge. That's coming up.
Giving kids the tools they need to stop bullying. I'm Yana Kay. The details next.
Hello and welcome to LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ellen Chang. Amidst a record drought, LA Mayor Eric Garcetti issues an executive order aimed at drastically reducing water use in our city. Gil Reyes reports on these new goals and what you're asked to do to conserve.
Until recently, watering your lawn 3 days a week was considered a good thing, a responsible way to conserve water while maintaining your yard. Not anymore, at least in Los Angeles. With California reeling from a 3-year drought with no end in sight, LA's mayor says 2 days a week is more than enough, and that it's time to change old habits.
In the 21st century, we must conserve, recycle, and rethink how we use our water to save money and to make sure that we have enough water to sustain life and our economy here in Los Angeles.
At DWP headquarters in downtown, Mayor Eric Garcetti signed an executive directive setting new water conservation standards for our city. Goals include a 20% reduction in freshwater use by 2017 and a 50% reduction of imported water within 10 years. The mayor and the DWP have also announced cash incentives for homeowners who go above and beyond the call.
if you can install appliances, water-saving devices in your homes, please reach out and have that discussion with us. The more money we save, it frees up money for us to put into our infrastructure, which is another critical priority.
The DWP is also offering rebates for people who replace their lawns with drought-resistant landscaping, up to $3.75 per square foot. For now, you won't be fined if you continue to water your lawn 3 days a week. But if water reduction targets aren't met in the coming years, the mayor says restrictions could soon follow. So it's best to start good habits now before water and money go down the drain. In downtown LA, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The mayor is also urging LA City departments to cut their water usage by replacing their lawns with drought-resistant plants. And the mayor's office Twitter account has been tweeting so-called drought hacks to help folks save water any way they can during this urgent time. A few days ago, the mayor's office tweeted #DroughtHack. Turning off the faucet when brushing teeth and shaving saves up to 10 gallons a day. There's also a link on that tweet, lamayor.org/droughtack, that takes you to a page that looks a lot like a BuzzFeed list with photos and GIFs accompanying each item on the list. For example, the first drought hack says, replace your lawn and save money with the LADWP rebate program. Under the hack is a photo of a front lawn overrun with drought-resistant plants. It may not be what you had in mind, but no doubt a lawn like that won't require much water. Drought hack number 3 says, save 8,800 gallons a year with weather-based irrigation systems. The accompanying photo shows a tree with a thought bubble saying, help me, I'm drowning, while the sprinklers are going full blast on a rainy day. The message is, save water any way you can. You can find more info by going to ladwp.com. Turning to another concern we have here in California, earthquakes. To help everyone get better prepared, the city's emergency management department did more than pay lip service. It held a simulation of the big one, complete with first responders and the injured. Yana Kay has more.
An injured patient is carried on a stretcher by volunteer CERT personnel during a simulated earthquake drill at the Tarzana Recreation Center. Dozens of victims lay on the ground, complete with disaster makeup as their injuries are assessed.
I had a gashed arm, there's a big cut under here, and I had a cut knee.
This full-scale earthquake drill involved first responders, community members, and CIRT, or Community Emergency Response Team, made up of volunteers who are trained to provide assistance and assess injuries during an emergency. And this drill puts them to the test.
It's all about plan, prepare, and practice, and practice is the biggest thing. We can plan and prepare, but if we don't do it on a regular basis, we will never really know what to do.
Even a Los Angeles Fire Department helicopter landed on the baseball field.
It's good for them to see what we do and how we do it so they know what to expect.
These are real players, real community members that in a real earthquake are going to be stepping up and doing this. So we're testing it. We're getting people involved.
This event also teaches community members how to be self-sufficient, and that means having enough water to last between 7 and 10 days until first responders can arrive.
It is all about neighbor helping neighbor. And if neighbor helps neighbor, that's how we're all going to survive.
And the neighborhood certainly came out in full force. Residents like the Keenan family gave their time playing the part of victims.
I want to be involved. It's my neighborhood, and I want to be involved. I want my kids to understand what it's all about and just being smart and prepared.
I think it was important because if there was a real emergency, then we would know what to do.
And officials say being prepared is what this drill is all about. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
Another event hailed LA's largest emergency preparedness expo was held also in the Valley recently, and it shook things up, literally. Gil Reyes reports from Granada Hills.
Class begins with a jolting lesson on earthquake safety. Hanna-Barbera's Shaky Quakey Schoolhouse is a mobile mini classroom that teaches kids to duck and cover while simulating a 3.5 magnitude shaker. It's a star attraction at the San Fernando Valley's Disaster Preparedness Fair in Granada Hills.
So all the kids are experiencing what it would be like, as we all remember, to be in an earthquake, and not just earthquakes, floods and fires, and how to take care of themselves and their neighbors. The important thing is getting together as a community.
Councilman Mitchell Englander represents this community once devastated by 1994's Northridge earthquake. This event, a crash course on all types of emergencies, drew the help of 10 neighborhood councils, the Kiwanis Club, the LA City Fire Department, and its safety partners. They gave CPR lessons and handed out some 500 emergency preparedness starter kits, all at no cost.
The more prepared each and every individual becomes, the less dependent they become on 911, both the police, fire, and medical services within the city. Because during a major disaster, we're going to be very, very busy and may not be able to get to everybody in a timely way.
Safety experts say, don't be a dummy, be prepared. At Fire Station 87 in Granada Hills, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Learn more on how to protect yourself, your family, and your community by logging on to readyla.org. The AIDS epidemic was first recognized in the Western Hemisphere in the early 1980s. Now, decades later, LA City leaders are honoring an Angelino who fought on the front lines back then and still today, raising money and awareness. Rasha Goel reports.
At a time when few people stood up to acknowledge the HIV and AIDS epidemic, one man in Los Angeles took on the fight. Craig Miller created the first AIDS Walk Los Angeles in the 1980s to speak out on what he saw was a growing crisis.
The need was obvious, and so we began organizing ourselves to take to the streets to raise money for AIDS Project Los Angeles and to really create public awareness that this epidemic was occurring.
Today, the city celebrates 30 years of AIDS Walk Los Angeles, an event produced by the nonprofit AIDS Project Los Angeles, an AIDS service organization. AIDS Project Los Angeles held the world's first AIDS Walk LA in 1985 and raised $673,000. Since then, AIDS Walk LA has raised over $69 million to help AIDS Project LA and other local AIDS organizations.
At a time before our president had ever even uttered the word AIDS, Craig Miller led 4,500 people, including Mr. Koretz and then Mayor Tom Bradley, and many other courageous leaders and everyday folks here in Los Angeles in that first AIDS Walk.
Until 2001, the walk was held at Paramount Studios, but moved to West Hollywood after the September 11 attacks due to security concerns.
West Hollywood was also, in a way, the epicenter of the AIDS crisis. Through much of its history over 10% of the housing units in West Hollywood had someone with either HIV or AIDS in them, or multiple individuals.
And in 30 years, not only have other AIDS walks started across the nation, but AIDS Walk LA has received a tremendous amount of support.
Today, we still receive extraordinary support from the LGBT community, but that support is really matched by that necessary support from the whole spectrum of the community.
And Miller? He's never missed an AIDS Walk LA in all these 30 years. In Los Angeles, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
The 30th AIDS Walk Los Angeles was held in West Hollywood on October 12th. Going to LA Central Library to check out books, that's so 2013. A new service, Tech Kiosk, allows you to check out electronic devices as well. Anna Marcos has the story.
Library computers move over. There's a new cyber kid on the block at the downtown Los Angeles Public Library. This new tech kiosk now allows mobile device fans to check out laptops and tablets. Yep, you get to check out the mobile devices with just a library card and a government ID, and it's free.
I think it's pretty cool for the library to offer something like that, because some people aren't able to buy computers or tablets or something.
It takes only seconds. Just scan your library card, key in your PIN number, a few more clicks on the screen, and you're ready to curl up in your favorite library corner with your favorite form of internet interaction. You can download any app or software program through the library's free Wi-Fi service.
It eliminates all the electrical and data outlets, and at the same time allow our patrons to check out the laptop or tablets and use it anywhere that they feel comfortable in the library.
Okay, there is a catch. Well, a couple of catches. Right now, it's only available at the main downtown branch. And did we mention you have to stay inside the library to use it? If you keep it past the 2-hour checkout time, you pay a fee, $5 an hour. But for CyberNet convenience, it can't be beat.
It was very easy to pull the laptop out of the machine.
In the first few weeks of service, the tech kiosk has seen close to 1,000 users, and it's sure to get more popular as the tech kiosk buzz spreads. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Right now, there are plans to expand the service to 2 other Los Angeles library branches. The murder of a transgendered woman has city leaders and police asking for the public's help in bringing the killers to justice. Councilmember Mitch O'Farrell, flanked by LAPD officers and members of the victim's family, announces a $50,000 reward to help solve the murder of 47-year-old Aniya Parker, a transgendered woman.
The transgender community is one of the most marginalized and discriminated against communities in all of society. Aniya was a constituent. Aniya was our neighbor, has a family that loves and cares for her. This is why I'm working with the LAPD to bring the person or persons responsible for her death to justice. But we absolutely need your help.
The shooting occurred in the early morning hours on October 2nd at Melrose and Kenmore near the 101 freeway. Police say Parker was shot during what is likely to have been a botched robbery. She later died from her injuries at a hospital.
Given that gender identity and sexual orientation all too often play a role in escalating the violence against the LGBT community, we believe it is very possible that Ms. Parker was targeted as a transgender woman because of her identity.
While the Los Angeles Police Department has not categorized Parker's murder as a hate crime, the LGBT community says discrimination and even violence are a real part of the life of a transgendered individual.
This has become a too frequent occurrence here in the streets of Los Angeles and Hollywood of the transgender community. I feel that transgenders have become targets of hate crimes and easy prey for criminals. My hope is that in addition to the reward, the Los Angeles City and LAPD step up street patrols to discourage criminals.
I know that there's nothing that could bring him back, but to me, he was my brother, and we cared and loved for him. And I don't understand how you young people could do such a mean and a cruel thing.
Asking for the suspects to turn themselves in, Sister Adrienne Parker says they just want to know why. even if knowing why won't bring back their loved one. Aniya Parker's shooting was actually caught by a surveillance camera. The dark and grainy video shows Parker in an altercation with what looks to be 3 men, likely to be in their 20s, before one of them fired a shot. If you know anything that could help solve this case, contact LAPD homicide detectives at 213-484-3623. It's something many don't talk about, and it's on the rise in Los Angeles, but city leaders shone the spotlight on domestic violence as they kicked off the I Can, We Can pledge and Day of Action. Anna Marcos has more.
Can artwork on a hand and a pledge stop domestic violence? Members of the city's Domestic Violence Task Force believe it's a start. They kicked off National Domestic Violence Awareness Month by asking people to take the I Can, We Can pledge. They believe domestic violence is everyone's problem.
If you go to death row, most of the people who are there, who have committed horrible crimes in themselves, are due to be executed, came from abusive backgrounds, that this cycle of violence has to stop.
When we all take a moment to really reflect on what we can do to help end domestic violence, that's when society's going to change.
I pledge our office will assure that domestic violence perpetrators do not have weapons.
Here at this table, you can take a pledge with one of these little I Can, We Can hands by making either a bracelet or a necklace, or you can take a pledge by writing on your own hand.
No, I Can is too small to make a difference or too big to be possible.
Kathy Salser created the I Can, We Can project as a way to heal victims of domestic violence through art.
I grew up with domestic violence, and in the face of that fear, art was my safety, art was my voice.
Many city leaders have each taken their own pledge to bring awareness to a problem that is on the rise.
We have seen an overall decline in crime for the last 11 years. Domestic violence, particularly spousal abuse, is up 18%.
Last year alone, we served over 1,600 individuals that were abused and felt the need to leave their setting.
City leaders hope when everyone starts speaking out, it makes a difference.
It means letting every victim, every family, and every child know that they are not alone, that the violence perpetrated against them is not their fault, and that there is help and support available.
I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
For kids, there can also be a lot to deal with outside of the home, at school, where they may be teased, pushed, or even worse. So aside from schoolwork, many students these days are also learning how to take a stand against bullying. Yana Kay reports.
These students at ICEF Vista Academy are standing together and making a pledge to stop bullying.
I will be a leader by maybe telling other students to try to help prevent and also not to bully others.
And that was the message city officials and community groups were trying to get across as part of October's National Bullying Prevention Month.
The only way that we can prevent bullying is to take a firm stance and to be friends and to provide respect, compassion, and understanding.
Nearly 500 students, local police officers, and community groups gathered for a morning assembly to raise awareness and inspire a call to action against bullying. According to statistics, 90% of 3rd to 5th graders say they feel sorry when they see a kid being bullied, but many times they just don't know how to stop it. But officials say it's events like these that give kids the tools and the support they need to handle and prevent bullying.
We're kind of teaching kids to go with your gut. If you think something's wrong, let an adult know.
It makes me feel safe and that I am capable of standing up to others.
A message that appears to be getting through loud and clear. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
Bullying Prevention Month began in 2006 with a one-week event and has evolved into a month-long campaign. Whimsical new bike racks blossom in one community. The city declares one day in October Latinoamerica Day and learning about energy efficiency and job opportunities at the LADWP. These stories in CityBeat. The makeover in Boyle Heights continues with the installation of yet another one of 36 new decorative bike racks shaped like flowers or butterflies. The beautification project is part of Councilmember Jose Huizar's $12 million First Street Arts and Civic Streetscape plan. 12 benches on First Street from Boyle to Soto were also installed as part of the project. Councilman Huizar's office says the street furniture creates an inviting atmosphere for cyclists, pedestrians, and motorists who live in or who are visiting the community. The Bureau of Street Services, Metro, local artists, and other community-based groups partnered on the project. City leaders recently declared the first Saturday of the month of October of every year Dia de Latinoamerica, or Latin America Day, in the city of Los Angeles. Present for the special presentation were the consul generals to Los Angeles from the Dominican Republic, Argentina, Bolivia, Ecuador, to name just a few.
It is a community that plays such a critical role. Half our population of the city is of some Latino descent. It is the fastest growing group in the United States, largest market for exchange between our country and their countries in many instances.
The recognition of Dia de Latinoamerica is part of the city's celebration of Latino Heritage Month. Councilman Joe Buscaino joined the LA Department of Water and Power recently to host an energy efficiency event at the Macedonia Baptist Church in Watts. In this time of record heat and drought, the Green the Block event brought home energy efficiency and water savings information to residents.
We're finding ways to reduce energy bills, but also finding ways to create jobs within the LADWP. And it's a great marriage between the two, finding cost savings and also putting people to work here in Watts.
The councilman was referring to an energy job training program that recruits and trains the next generation of skilled workers for careers at the LADWP. We recently reported on the downtown mural painted by German artist Thierry Noir, known for painting on the Berlin Wall. Now another piece of German history comes alive in Los Angeles as a new art installation is unveiled. Yana Kay has more.
Traveling all the way from Germany for the 25th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, this guardhouse now stands in its original form as the latest art installation at the Wendy Museum.
The house is a symbol of investigation and control people in East Berlin.
City officials, artists, and community members unveiled the new art project during a ceremony at the Berlin Wall exhibit located at 5900 Wilshire Boulevard in Los Angeles.
What you've done is create a field, which this wall is, to nourish people through the art.
Artist Christopher Zwiener saved the historic guardhouse from being destroyed. It was the very last one left after the fall of the Berlin Wall. These mass-produced aluminum shacks used to monitor where people were going on the streets of East Germany, and now this piece of German history lives on in LA.
It's the one place outside of Germany where old Germany is still alive.
Inside the guardhouse is another piece of artwork called Key Delivery. It's made up of 2,000 keys that came from the barracks of the People's Police in East Germany. They represent loss of power and control following the demise of the political system.
For me, it's a symbol of all the keys tell certain stories. Each one opened a room and also belonged to a person for a certain time.
Stories that continue to unfold one key at a time. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
The installation will be on display at the Wilshire location until the end of October. In this week's list of things to do, a classic English murder mystery, a Saturday community cleanup event, and a Halloween party for kids in need. Feel like ringing in the holidays early with the hilarious seasonal twist on the classic English murder mystery? Well, Villa Thrilla might just be the play for you. You can catch it on Saturday, October 25th from 8 to 10 p.m. at the Atwater Village Theater, located at 3269 Casitas Avenue in Atwater Village. The plot goes something like this. A former mob boss invites a gangster couple to a holiday party at the once magnificent Thrilla mansion, but how will they recognize the mob boss Mickey, who has been in witness protection and has undergone plastic surgery? And wait, the dreidel song plays and the first body falls, a cop comes knocking at the door. For reservations and information, go to villathrilla.com. What started out as an activity of 15 Cub Scouts in 2011 has turned into an annual event of over 125 volunteers. On Saturday, October 25th, from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., join other like-minded community members at Stony Point at the north end of Topanga Canyon Boulevard in Chatsworth. Volunteers will be asked to make the trails more user-friendly by removing debris and rubbish from the park. The cleanup event will then be followed by a social event, compliments of the Chatsworth Neighborhood Council, with food and fun for everyone. For more information, contact Les Saleh at scoutingus@aol.com. And if you want to give back to the community by making this Halloween special for some underprivileged kids, the 5th annual Big Sunday Spooky Sunday event needs your help. The Spooky Sunday event takes place on Sunday, October 26th from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Big Sunday headquarters at 6111 Melrose Avenue. The family-friendly Halloween haunted house and party will be attended by a large group of underserved kids and their families. Activities include a costume giveaway, trunk or treating, arts and crafts, pumpkin carving, and of course lots of sweet treats. If you're interested in volunteering or if you have an organization with kids who would like to attend, go to bigsunday.org for information. And that's a look at some upcoming things to do. The first LAPD SWAT officer killed in the line of duty continues to make an impact through a charity set up in his memory. Gil Reyes reports from the Randall Simmons Run, Bike, and CrossFit Challenge.
And they're off for a 5K run to raise money for underprivileged children. It's what Officer Randy Simmons would have wanted, according to his widow.
Oh, it means so much to me because Randy's passion was to help kids, and especially at-risk kids in underserved areas. And so the LAPD today is sponsoring this big fundraiser to help support us, to help fund our foundation so that we can continue Randy's legacy of love.
The annual Randy Simmons Run, Bike, and CrossFit Challenge got off to a healthy start at Elysian Park Recreation Center. Simmons died in 2008. The first LAPD SWAT officer killed in the line of duty. But his legacy of youth mentoring continues through the Randy Simmons Foundation. Over the years, it's raised money for youth scholarships, low-income housing assistance, children's camping adventures, toy drives, trips to amusement parks, and more.
And they're doing amazing work in the community. So this is a great run that people come out, they get sponsorships. It helps fund that work of the foundation and to really embody what LAPD is all about, what Randy was about.
Through the spirit of giving, the spirit of Randall Simmons lives on. In Elysian Park, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
That was the 7th annual event. The widow of Randall Simmons has also written a book about his life. Proceeds benefit at-risk children. A movie is also in the works. Find out more at randysimmonsswat.com. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ellen Chang. A reminder that you could catch us online at lacitybute.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We're also on Twitter. That's LATW35. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.